YouTube has done something for us. That's how they're positioning it anyway. Let me get that out of here because that wasn't working. No. Let's try that again, shall we? YouTube has done something for us. So they have given anybody access and permission to sample your content. All of your YouTube content. Your recorded videos, your live videos, your shorts, whatever you have out there, they've given people permission. The question is this a good thing or a bad thing? That's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about what your options are too. So let's get this party started, shall we? Hello and welcome. So, it's always something. This time around, it's YouTube. And I'm sure you've probably heard something about this because there's a lot of chatter about it. And for good reason. If nothing else comes out of this show tonight, the fact is YouTube pulled a Facebook. YouTube really messed up on how they rolled this out. Okay, the information that they provided was practically non-existent. Where it did exist, it was not clear. There's lots of click here for more information, which doesn't give you any more information. So let's just talk about where we're at. Let's level set right now, and then we'll move on from there. The fact of the matter is, if you have YouTube content, YouTube has gone in and automatically, programmatically turned on this new flag that they've provided for everybody that says, you can sample my content. Now, immediately people were like, A, no, don't make changes to my channel without talking to me about it. B, don't make changes to my channel without talking to me about it and giving me the option of opting in or opting out. That's the right way to do this kind of thing. C, or 3, if you're going to do this, give me a way to easily undo it, which they haven't, and so on and so forth. So there's lots of consternation out there. So I've done some poking around, I've done some research, I've read everything that YouTube has made available about it, and I'm going to give this to you in as much of a nutshell as I possibly can. The first thing is you should know where to go and look for this magical setting. So hang on one second, let me bring this up. I think I need to make the intro longer because I don't have time to bring up the stuff I need to bring up all the time. Okay, so let us go to... let's go here. There we go. Oh, except that I'm not in the right position for that. Okay, I'll slide over here. Okay, so you're going to want to go into the YouTube studio, okay? And then you're going to go into your content. Now, another fun thing that I found out when I was setting up for this show is you can't even deal with this setting until after you're done with your live or after you've uploaded your video and it's been processed. So the odds are really good that even once I show you this, there's still going to be a window of opportunity for people to sample your stuff, even if your intention is to go in and turn it off. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So you go into whatever content. These are uploads. It also applies to the lives. It's the same thing. Here, we'll go into last week's show. Now, zero notification about this. Like, how many times have you gone into studio, in either here or on the dashboard, there's that bar across the top telling you something's changed, or hey, go watch our new video? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If you're not paying attention, you probably don't even know that this has happened, which unfortunately means you probably haven't found this video. But when you hear about it, you can come here. So it's not here at the top. Okay, there's no notification. You've got to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and then you have to move the cursor because otherwise that'll scroll the wrong thing. Keep scrolling. Now, granted, I've got some stuff because I use TubeBuddy and vidIQ, so you won't necessarily have all of this, but you still have to continue to scroll and scroll. This is what you're looking for. Okay, now mine is deselected because I spent way too much time going in and deselecting all these things, but this is what we're talking about. Okay, I'll read it to you in case it's a little hard to see. Shorts permission allows people to create shorts using parts of this video. We'll get into that in a minute. Turning this off will permanently delete all shorts sampling its content. Not all content can opt out. Okay, folks. Let's unpack this, right? It looks like such a short little thing, right? A couple, what, 3 sentences? 3 sentences. 3 sentences and to learn more. Oh my God, there's so much going on in here, okay? Allows people to create shorts using parts of this video. What parts? Right? Okay, now, and some of you are going to say, well, click on, learn more. So fine, let's do that. Let's click on learn more, okay? And it just tells you about this. It's not presented in context, but it is some good news here. Let me take me off of this so you can see it. The reason they brought you to use audio to create shorts is because, at least right now, the only thing that people can sample from your content is the audio. Now, in a minute, we'll get into why you shouldn't say, oh, okay, I'm not worried about it, and move on. But that's where it's at right now. So that's why this link is here. But it doesn't explain to you at all about what you can do with your content, why they did this to your content, none of that. This only talks about creating shorts. It does not take it at all from our point of view as being a creator of content that you have now unleashed the hounds on. So let me come back here. And let's take that off. Okay, so that's what that is, okay? So using parts of this video. Now, understand. Let me come out here for a second, because this 3-sentence thing we're gonna have to talk about. Right now, they can just do audio. Okay, I felt a little bit better about that, but still not a whole lot, because I like to be consulted about changes to my channel. I'm funny that way. So I would imagine we're all funny that way. The other thing is, I would not expect that to continue to be true, because everything that I've read, everybody who's talking about this says that this is how YouTube is going to take down TikTok. Now, life is not a zero-sum game, and I really wish people would stop approaching it that way. I'll try not to go completely ranty on this, but oh my God. There's no reason on this planet why we can't have YouTube and we can't have TikTok. It would be totally fine. And there is no reason for YouTube to become TikTok. Okay? And I don't really see TikTok becoming YouTube. There's sort of a big head start on that. Okay, so, but the point is that everybody's talking about it, and there's kind of an underlying tone, but it's never actually said in the YouTube content that that's kind of what they're doing here. Obviously, they're not going to come out and say, hey, we're going after TikTok. But the point being, in TikTok, if you've never been there, people can sample the audio and the video. So you can choose to do just the audio, or you can do the audio and video together. That's where I think this is going. And that's why, even if you're like, oh, it's just audio, that's today. That doesn't mean in 48 hours or whatever their timeline is, they're not going to flip a switch that then also makes it so that they can change, that they can use your video, which is really changing your video. It's not presenting your content the way you intended it to be presented. Again, at this point, I'm not even getting into whether this is good or bad. I'm just putting out the facts as they are. Okay, so I think that's why they were very cagey in how they worded this, right? Allows people to create shorts using parts of this video. That leaves the door wide open, okay? We're talking barn door wide open, okay? All the critters can go out at once, okay? Now, the fact that, okay, if you go in and you turn it off after the fact, it will, in theory, if they maintain this, and I don't think they will, because the other creators will yell, but right now, if you are going to go in and turn this off, and oh, wait till I tell you about that, but if you go in and turn this off, anybody who has created content based on your content, that content will be deleted. At least that's what it says. And for me, the word delete is very specific, right? It doesn't mean disable or anything else. It says delete, which should mean it goes away forever. We shall see. Not all videos can opt out. Nobody has been able to give me a clear definition of what that is. I can tell you that I went through all of my videos, and at least that box was there to disable it. But the fact that they're making a point of saying not all videos can opt out means that there are going to be ones who can't, and we'll have to keep our eyes open on that, and I will do a follow-up video when and if they ever enlighten us on that particular topic. Okay. Sorry, I was supposed to have this up. This would probably have helped, right? So this is what we're talking about. It's this section right here. And when you go into your content, this is going to be pre-selected. Come on. Okay, so when you come in, all of your videos have this. Now listen to me, listen to that word there. I said all, and that's exactly what I mean. I went in, I verified this myself. Your live videos, your recorded videos, your shorts, your public videos, your unlisted videos, and your private videos all have this setting turned on. That is inexcusable as far as I'm concerned. If for whatever reason the powers that be decided that they wanted to do this and this was going to be such a big help and this was going to really help everybody's exposure, so they were going to turn it on, they absolutely had no business turning it on for private and unlisted videos. Inexcusable. You mark those videos private and unlisted for a reason, and now they've just said that anybody who has access to those can go ahead and make additional content out of them, which completely negates the fact that you've marked them as not being public. So that, for me, if nothing else, you're going to want to go in and you're going to want to go into your unlisted and your private videos, videos that, or content that you've marked private. Let's go with that phrasing. You're going to want to go in and turn those off, which brings me to my next favorite part of this. How do you do this? As I mentioned earlier, there is no easy one button, okay? They magically turn this on for you. There is no magic button for you to turn it off. You have to go into every single piece of content, do all that scrolling I showed you, find it, save the change, go back and start over with the next one. This took me hours, and I don't have thousands of videos, okay? I barely have hundreds. Maybe I have 200 videos at this point, maybe. Probably more, around 150. So each one. And when I saw that the ones that I had unlisted or I had set private were also flagged with this, I won't kid you. I taught the dog some new words because I was not happy. That was not acceptable at all. So that's what you're going to have to do. So let me just, for anybody, I'll just real quick remind you of what the process is because, oh yes, now you're paying attention and now you're realizing, hey, this is a problem. So let me go back. So you're going to go into the studio, right? You're going to select your content and then you're going to scroll and then you're going to scroll and then you're going to scroll some more. Now, yes, I do have extra sections in here because I use vidIQ and I use TubeBuddy, but it's still a lot of scrolling to get all the way down here to find this section and say, no, I did not give permission. I didn't save it when I turned it back on because, like I said, I already got and turned these off. But then this will turn blue, and you will have to save it in order to make that change. Are we having fun yet? I tell you, some days, and just for the record, this was not the content I was planning this week, but since this has bubbled up so much, I had to. Hey, Jason. Little ranty tonight. How are you? I don't know if you've heard about this. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm going to just talk about it now from a broader standpoint. And that is, I do believe that somebody at YouTube is like, oh, hey, this is a great way to get more exposure, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying that that's not the case, right? It certainly could be the case that this is a good way for you to get more exposure, for other people to come and find your content. But that should be your choice. It should not be somebody else's choice to do this kind of thing. So, I went through, like I said, I tested this because there's a lot of conflicting information out there, and I'm not one to just go by other people's word. So my first step was to see if I had access to this at all, because I don't meet the threshold for doing live streams from my device using the YouTube app. Now, there are ways that you can still go ahead and live stream from your mobile device to YouTube if you have not made it. So it's 1,000. You have to have 1,000 subscribers before you're eligible for that feature. Just because you get to the 1,000 doesn't mean it automatically happens. There's some other steps you have to take. If you're curious, let me know. I am more than happy to cover that as a topic later. I don't have it, but I can explain it to you. But so I don't have that. So that was my first thing was, is this even an option for me? Like, can I even do this? Well, this is a very interesting thing because, to be honest, I've had no interest in the shorts. I've been, and I've mentioned this in other shows, I'm kind of torn, maybe playing possibly at some point with TikTok. I don't know. I keep going back and forth about it. I'm spending way too much time on TikTok. I know that, which is kind of why I'm like, well, maybe I should do some content here. But I haven't really looked into the shorts thing. I know it's there. I know that, there's a couple ways to do it. And I just assume that since I don't have the ability to use the YouTube app on my phone to live stream, that I would not be able to do shorts that way, but you can, and I did include the link in the description. Anybody can go ahead and create a video and upload it to YouTube the usual way, and if you put the hashtag shorts in the title, then it will be treated as a short, and so that is a way to do it if I didn't have access. But guess what? It turns out I do have access. So let me bring you into this world here. Okay, so all right, I have to move my chair again, and let's bring that down. Okay, so this is not even my business account because I want to show you a couple of things, which we'll get there. Okay, so this is how things look on my phone right now, okay? See this down here? Let me move this up a little bit. Okay, this little plus sign? It turns out that they have released shorts from your phone, from your mobile device, using the YouTube app to everybody in the US. I just, as I was saying that, I was like, oh, Jason's here, I should mention. So yes, so it's evidently in India, because in India is where they started the shorts beta testing. But Jason is in Canada. I hope I'm not giving away any big secrets. So it's in Canada. If you're in the U.S., those two geographic locations now have this nifty little plus sign down here that lets you create a short. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Okay, so this option here is create a short. If I say go live, it tells me I can't, which is just a big old tease. Okay, but if I click on this and I say create a short, it says, oh, sure, no problem, we can create a short. Now, it's not showing you much of anything because I've got this sitting on a board here, but see if I hold it up. There we go. It's going to let me do this. So that was the first shocker for me as far as this goes, because I really did not expect to be able to test drive this myself. When I saw that I could, then I went ahead and I did it. So the other challenge here is that you can't just pick any old content to use yet. Even though they've turned this on for everybody's content, the feature is not showing up for everybody. So I'm going to show you over here what I'm talking about. I have to keep moving. I had to fix my cameras. So this is a screen cap I took. So I poked around in a bunch of different places, and then in the process found out that one of my favorite TikTok folks is over here on YouTube as well. So I went into her content, and sure enough, there's this extra feature. So for most content you go and watch on your mobile device is not going to have this little, where did I put my stylus? Okay, this is going to make it more difficult. I have a really bad habit of carrying styluses around the house, and I think that's what I've done because I can't find it. Oh well, we'll have to use my finger. I wonder how many weeks it's going to take me to find it this time. Anyway, so I'll just point to it here. So you see here, there's this little phone, I'm sorry, not phone, camera, and underneath it, it says create. That is the feature that will let you sample the content to create your short. So that's what I did. And why, it never fails. I did this, I tested it, and now of course it's not going to work. But let me show you. Okay, now it's working. Because why not? So that's one way that you can do it. The other way is if you are looking at shorts, and you look at like a whole list of shorts that were built off of another short. This all gets very, what do they call that when it's like that infinite view? So when I went to look to see, okay, so this up here is the original content that this creator created. Her name is Call Me Chris with K's instead of C's. She's hysterical. You should go check her out. So this was her original post on YouTube, and then these are ones that other people created, including mine. So that was very interesting to me because I created, never having done this, really not putting any effort into it. I just wanted to see what the process was like. So I went in, found one of hers that made me giggle. I hit that camera with the create, and it brought me into what I just showed you as far as creating the shorts using the app. At that point, my dog was being very animated and cute, so I'm like, okay, I pointed the camera at him and hit the button, at which point, before it started recording, he laid down to go to sleep. So I ended up with what looked like a still picture, which is what you see here, this picture here. It looks like a still picture, even though it was a video, with that segment of audio from Call Me Chris on top of it. So that was rather, well, I won't get you, I giggled. It was funny. It made me laugh. I'm sorry. So the point that is, I'm going to show you here. So when you go in to look to see what the other ones are, you can, the same path is to click on use this sound. So if you've looked at other people who have done fun things with that particular original content, you can A, watch their content, and then B, you can go and create your own by clicking this. It's the same as if you clicked on the create camera looking at her original content. So 2 doorways, same destination. Make sense? Okay, so we are going to kick ahead and let me bring this, since evidently this is not going to cooperate all the way. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this just blows my mind. So I did this, what's today? I've lost track of the days. I did this last night. I did this test. And I'm just going to show it to you. So you see this one, it says 1 day. It's not even a full day. So this is my video with no movement because the dog was just laying on the floor with the audio from Call Me Chris. And in less than 24 hours, it's been seen 182 times. And I have never, ever done short content. So it's not like people are coming to my page, right, to look for short content. That's not the case. This may not seem like a big number to you, but for me, that's a big number. And the only thing I can figure is it's because she's got a strong following and I'm showing up in that other view so that, you know, they're checking it out, probably seeing the dog and the fact that it's, you know, Call Me Chris, and that's probably what's doing it. So this is not because I'm some great short creator at all. This is because I showed up in the first block for people who want to see what other people did with Chris's content. But that's a lot. And I'm going to watch that number, right? Because this is a non-video video. I mean, it is a video. The dog doesn't move. It's just her audio over the top of it. So any and all action that it gets really belongs to her because it's just, I did nothing, right? I pointed the camera at a dog, and you can barely see the dog because it was late. I didn't have all the lights on, and he's a black dog, so he's hard to get on camera. Anyway, so that's that piece of it. The next piece of it is, okay, so if we go down the path of, okay, this does eventually lead to exposure, right? Because yes, you know, Chris's people are seeing me. The thing is, that's not my content, right? My content is not about my dog. My content is about this stuff. So if somebody happened to be curious enough to want to go and check out my channel, the odds of them becoming a follower are pretty low because the people who are, Chris is an entertainer, right? She does voices, she does characters, she writes scripts, she's very, very creative. Me, not so much. Okay, you want to talk computers, you want to talk software, I'm your person, but I don't do voices, I don't write creative stories, I'm just not, my brain does not process that way. So our audiences are not in alignment at all. Maybe somebody would follow, but I will say that, you know, while that particular short, you know, has gotten an unusual amount of, well, any of my content, like, doesn't get that much traffic in one day, I did not see a parallel boost in subscribers. Now, people tend to not hit the subscribe button the first time they visit you unless it's an incredibly good, strong match. Most of the time that happens over time. So I don't know if that's a fair way to evaluate this, but it's just something to think about. I don't know, like if I went to other people who do kind of techie stuff and I took their audio and did something with it, I don't think that works for my market. So I think that that's the point here, is that whether or not this is a good thing depends on your market. It depends on your content. It depends on your goals, the expectations of your audience. Like if you think about things like Jonathan Colton, Will Wheaton, Paul and Storm, the Double Clicks, those are creative people that have a lot of overlap in their audience. So if they started doing this, amongst themselves, or if some similar artists, in that vein started using some of their stuff, I could see a synergy there, right? I could see where that could help everybody to get a bigger audience. But I don't think that that is a given across the board for everybody, which brings me back to the point that I think it was incredibly wrong for YouTube to turn this on for everybody. I swear someday I'll stop ranting about this. Today's not that day. Okay, so I think I have covered everything, but let me just check my notes here because I kind of bounced around, which I knew I would. Okay, so we talked about it shouldn't have been, right? We talked about it shouldn't have been defaulted to yes. Yes, it's happening to your private and unlisted videos. We talked about the fact that YouTube doesn't need to be TikTok and any other, combinations. Oh, okay, so there is one more thing. Actually, there's two more things. So one is around music. So if you are using something like Epidemic Sound, okay, which I use at the beginning of the show, the people, if for some reason somebody wanted to use that audio, they won't be able to because they don't have the right to Epidemic Sound for their channel necessarily, like I do. Like that, all of that becomes very complicated. The whole music thing gets very, very complicated on this. So frankly, that's probably a good way. Like running a music bed is starting to feel like the right solution for me, since there is going to be this window between when you schedule your show, when you do your show, or when you upload your video and it gets processed and you can go in and edit it. It's not until you get to that last step that you can go and turn that off. I could not turn off that flag when I scheduled this show, which made me crabby, very, very crabby, because it should have been. It should have been an option there. I should have been able, as I was setting it up, to do that, but it's not, so be aware of that. The reason I went in and turned it off is because I have a full-time job. I have 2 part-time jobs, which equal another full-time job, plus I have this gig here, plus I have other occasional clients. I do not have the time to go and monitor and chase down people who use my content inappropriately. I just don't have that time. And another thing that YouTube has not bothered to give us any information about is, are we going to be able to see who's using our stuff, what they're doing with it? Are we going to get any analytics back on it at all? Does it count as a view for us if somebody uses our stuff, but it's on somebody else's channel? No explanation about this at all. There's been no real, the question of can we monetize these comes up in shorts in general. Nowhere have they talked about if somebody's using your content in their short and they're monetizing, do you get a piece of that? No conversation around that at all yet. One would hope that it's going to come, but to me, it should have been very, very clearly explained before they opened up this can of worms. So that's just another thing to be aware of. Also, so we did talk about, thank you, Jason, that it's not available in all locations, even though people who can't do YouTube videos using the YouTube app from their phone in the US and India right now have access to it. That said, even in those 2 markets, you may not have access to it if your account is what they call, and let me get the wording here because the wording was awkward. If you have a supervised experience on your account, when I went and looked into that, that's parental controls. So if your parental units have gone in and set parental controls on your account, you very well may not have this option either. And wouldn't even, if there was a way to get around it, I wouldn't know. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you, because that's not what you're supposed to do. The parental controls are there for a reason. So take that for what it's worth. But just to get a little ahead of the people who will be in my comments later, and you are always welcome to comment, feel free. But if you are in India or the US and you don't have this option, the odds are pretty good that your account is in that supervised experience category. Okay, I think now I have covered everything. Let me just triple check. There was a lot here, right? I mean, I when I said, oh, I'll do this, this will be a quick show, I'm like, well, it didn't really turn out to be. Okay. All right, so yes, so that has covered what I wanted to cover. You're going to have to make the call for yourself. Maybe try it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to try selective ones to leave it, mainly because I want to see if there's any analytics on it. So I tried. So first I went in because I was pissed. I went in and I just turned it off on everything. And then I'm like, okay, well, as I'm testing it, I'm like, okay, well, I have the ability to test it. So then I'm like, all right, well, let me see what happens if somebody uses mine. Well, I can't tell you that, because even though I did go in and for a couple of them turn it on, when I switched accounts, like when I went from my business account to my personal account, I still couldn't use the content. So I can't tell you right now. I'm hoping, actually, Chris does a lot of live streams on TikTok. So I'm hoping that she's going to do one in the next week or so that I can jump in and ask her and hope. I mean, she gets flooded with questions, but I'm going to ask her if she's seen anything on it, because if she sees the question, she will answer it. She's awesome. But if not, I'm going to keep trying it to see what happens if somebody takes the one or two of mine and does it. If you want to try it, you are welcome. Which ones did I do it on? I don't remember. Hang on, let me see. I did it on... You know what? I'll do it on the... I'll go turn that on again. Let me bring this up. So I had turned it off on last week's, but you know what? I'll turn it back on if somebody wants to play with it, and then I can let you know. I guess I have to refresh. Bless you, Murphy. My goodness, you got the sneezies. Bless you. My goodness, I can't remember the last time I heard him sneeze like that. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on for this one, and I also turned it on for another one. I just have to go look at the title. Okay, so I'll turn it on for this. And the other one I turned it on for, oh, it was this one. The, nope, not that one. Sorry, that's a lie. It was schedule your posts with Canva Pro. Okay, so, hey, that worked out kind of nicely. So the last two shows I did, I have it on for. So if you want to try it with that, go ahead. Understand that I will probably turn it off because I don't think it's going to really serve any purpose for me. But if you're curious, or if you want to help me test, for the next couple of weeks at least, I will leave those with the setting flagged on. I'm also going to keep trying to do it from my own account, just so I can see if I get any notification about it, if I see any analytics on it, anything at all. Right now, my expectation is no, because there is no mention of any of that kind of stuff, but let's test and find out for sure. Okay? All right, everybody. So that is what I have for you. I do hope that you will let me know what you're thinking about this, and what you decide to do. You can go ahead and jump into the comments on whichever platform you're on, or if you have questions, if you have other things you want me to go and research about this, please feel free to go ahead and put that in there. I go back and check the comments on a regular basis on all the videos, so go right ahead. If you want to reach out directly, you can reach me at yourtechcoach.net. There's a contact form there. Just go ahead and put in your question, your suggestion for a future show, whatever. All I ask is if you need a fast answer, let me know that and let me know how to get back in touch with you. Otherwise, all I can do is cover it in a future show, which is fine, but some people need faster answers, so I'd like to get that covered out of the way. Okay? Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. This is an interesting one, and I'm going to write it out and see, but right now, just not on board and really unhappy with the way that they've gone about doing this. So we shall see. All in good time, things will become clear, and this could very well disappear because it ends up not being worth the effort for them, but it's going to be a bumpy ride for a little bit. Jason, I hope you let me know when and if it arrives for you up in Canada. And because I'm sure, Jason's very creative, so I'm sure if it does, he'll do amazing stuff with it. Stuff that I would never even be able to think about because that's just not how my brain works. All right, everybody, I am going to wrap this up. Take Sneezing Boy outside and let him do his thing. Thank you so much. I'm here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with a different topic. You are always welcome to come and jump into the chat and post your questions or comments. If you don't catch me live, you can also go ahead and put it in the comments of the post. All right? Thanks, everybody. We will talk again soon. Go give the shorts a try, I guess. See how it flies for you. Bye.